So here I'm using Fabriano's 100% cotton cold pressed paper block. I've just simply drawn in some simple trees. Right here, like I said, Patreon members get this trace if they want it. But just basically draw a couple of simple tall, one big tall tree, a couple of small ones on the right, a little road going this way, the back of it, and then we've got some mountains back here. And first we're going to make some kind of bright sky with some loose clouds. So I'm going to take my number 16 Aqua Elite Series brush from Princeton and loosening up some cobalt paint here. I want the sky to be very bright. Like the fall has those really bright skies. So I'm going to picture, I'm going to put this on, I'm going to lift this up a little bit, put it up on some tape or something. So picture the cloud, we kind of come down here, like over this way, maybe down out here. And I'm going to fill in the rest of this up top. The consistency of the paint, this is wet on dry by the way, is kind of in the milk to coffee consistency. Very bright color here for the sky, going in here for the clouds. And once we finish that bright blue area, we're going to go underneath it and make some gray areas. So some gray in the bottom of the clouds. So lift that out. So I'm going to use ultramarine blue deep for that. And a little bit of burnt sienna. Makes the perfect gray. A little bit more gray here, the brown. Mix this color up, same consistency. Water it down. We're going to leave some white right up in here. So grabbing this wet on dry again. Just grabbing this color, coming down over and about here, and a little bit over here. Dip my brush into some water, dip it again, so I'm lightening up the gray, getting a little close to the edge on some of these, not all of them, and then coming back down here. And I'm going to leave a little bit of white space again in some of these areas in here, coming down with the cloud here, along where the mountain would be. Don't worry about the tree because it'll be much darker. And going in like that and filling this in. I'm going to leave some white right in here. And going down in here, leaving some white here. I'm going down with the mountain, coming down here. Dipping my brush in water, making this a little bit lighter, etc. Now, this is kind of tilted, so this is pooling down here. I'm just going to soak it up with my brush. Now, it's kind of a hard edge, which you can find, but I'm going to clean off my brush, grab a little bit of water on here, kind of soften the edge here. Tap back on my paper towel, just put some soft water. Again, keeping it soft and light towards the edge. You can kind of tap some edges in some areas and leave the rest. And get this insanely beautiful, kind of stormy kind of looking cloud. If you want to add a little bit more deeper color, you can do that too. So you get some variations in this cloud. See? And you get that bright blue sunshine. And we'll be adding in some tree colors here. So I'm just going to lift out a little bit of this gray, because back here we're going to add some tree color, fall tree colors, and we want them kind of bright. So if we lift up some of the color by just taking a damp brush and tapping back on our paper towel, almost like mopping it, cleaning it, and we get some areas here, removing some of the color, so that if we have a bright yellow kind of tree, it won't be dulled down by the gray. If it helps just to take paper towel, do that as well. Just lifting up a little bit of this color. So we have some yellow in there. Like I said, it looks a little mushroomy, but you can kind of tap it like this. So it's not so much of a mushroom looking. Okay. Take this down and remove some of this paint now. I'll start to play with putting in the mountains. Ultramarine blue deep. You could use magenta, a little bright rose, alizarin crimson. This is like really kind of purpley. I'm going to add more blue to that to make it more of a blue purple. Okay. And water it down a little bit. You can also add a little bit of burnt sienna again to make it just a little bit duller. We don't want a really bright purple. I'm gonna water it down. And we got this nice little purple kind of mountain back here happening. Same thing, like I said, don't worry about the trees because they'll be much darker. Just filling that in where our mountains are. They look like two little toppy hills, but you know, with the leaves, you probably won't notice as much. Okay. Remove the color. Building, building, building. Now, this whole area, we're gonna get some nice bright color in here. Gonna grab some yellow, Prussian blue for some bright green. This is cadmium yellow deep. A little bit more of this cadmium yellow deep here. So get like a nice chartreuse color. Loosen up some of this burnt sienna. Add a little cadmium red light. Get like that nice red color. Okay. So I'm going to grab a little bit more yellow again. Do this bright green kind of color happening in here. Just filling that in. Gonna put some clear water down in this area. I'm gonna bleed in some of this orangey tone. Maybe even more brown, like some burnt umber. Mix in with some of the green. Right, a little bit more orange, yellow. Kind of tapping that in between some of the green as well. Remember, it's fall. Make it a little bit thicker with my green here. Coming back over in here again with some green. Coming down. And I'll add some browns too. So it's a little bit bright because you know, like there's still some bright greens left in the fall. My yellow is still stuck on my brush. Just grab some burnt sienna. Kind of tap that in a little bit. It's very, very wet. Playing around with this a little bit. Remove our greens. Gonna make some brown with ultramarine blue deep and burnt sienna. A little bit more grayish brown. Clean up my brush and grab some of this wonderful burnt sienna, mix in with some of the green with some of the road. Just taking my big old brush, doing some dry brushing here. Kind of happening. The growling is from my studio companion, my dog Brady. A little bit of like this on the side. It's a nice little dirt road. Grabbing some of this gray. And then putting some lines like if you were driving down the road. Right? A little bit more darker over here. Grab some burnt umber and even some Paynes gray. Playing around with some color in here. Water this down a little bit by dipping my brush in the water and kind of just loosening up this paint color. Now we've got a lot of wet color in here. And get a little thicker now. So I've got my brown with the black. A little thicker. We can add a little bit of some marks. They won't move if it's much thicker. And get some nice little marks here. The road. Going across. Adding some dry brushing with this. Right? Then I want to make some deeper greens. So the Prussian blue, the yellow, and the burnt umber. I'm trying to make it much thicker than we had before. So deep green, a little bit thicker. Put some of that over in here and even down in here, the tree. Tap a little bit back here. Gonna get my green again, my yellow, I'm sorry. Mixing my yellow in with the green that I had in my brush. Just going back here a little bit. Still want to keep this area bright. And then I have got the little hill kind of in the background. Gonna add little taps of green on the road. Like some grass. And some more yellow. that back area right here, just gonna mix up whatever I have in my palette. It makes a nice dirty green, or even grab some orange. Kind of put that way in the background. Could even be more yellow, rustic color. But the brown is fine too. Just like that. The background. So now I'm making a little bit deeper purple using the same colors I did before for the purple, just less water. I'm gonna make some little ridges on the mountain. So kind of like this. Wiggle your brush, put some darks in there, and leave the whites, the lights. See, mountain ridges, and this one too, on the side like a shadows. Okay, now we want to work on our lovely, put some over here too, some little mountain. Our trees. Again, cadmium yellow deep. It's a little bit of green in there. I can add a little bit cadmium red light, and it will just take away some of that. And we got that orange. Can make it brighter, not as bright. Even add some red. Clean up my brush a little bit. Got so much yellow pigment on it. Tap it off. So I'm just going to take my brush, right? Just kind of move and twist and turn. Add some yellow. Grab a little bit of that orange. Now this is wet on dry. You kind of twist and push down and move your brush kind of on its side. Just like so. Same thing with this little tree here. Obviously you don't want to make it so big around your tree if it's a small tree. Get a little bit thicker with your paint. Doing little taps up top. Another great thing is I have this really kind of ratty brush. It's an old acrylic brush. All ratty. Perfect for this. Get this wet. Grab some orange color. And you can make these really great little spiky kind of leaves. Coming out, woohoo, all the way up here. And down in here. Add a little brown on the bottom. Perfect, perfect tree. And then same here. I'm going to grab more yellow on this side. Almost like thick yellow paint. I love it. Love this little ratty little brush. Dip it in the water if you want. Add a little orange. Or even a little bright green will help too. Get some great green going. Because some of the leaves might not have turned. Add a little more Prussian blue. You got some green there. Be surprised. I got a little bit more red with some pyro Rubin instead of orange. Throw some of that red in here. So it can be kind of like maybe like a maple leaf tree that's way in the background. And then we have more of a yellow one over inside. Kind of going off to the side a little bit. I always like to put a little couple of leaves on the ground. Get some thick yellow paint. Orange, red, kind of playing like that's on the ground. Even out here on this road, it just helps. Right? And now I'm going to take some, actually I think I want to put another tree or so in here. So maybe I'll add, I want to add like another orange red color over on the side. Yeah, really, look at that red, pops. Doo-doo. And then maybe kind of flank it over here with another small tree down below. And I'll add them in a second. Could add some more red too, just that pyro. Kind of like bookends of these trees. Okay, I've grabbed the different brushes. This is an 8 long round from Aqua. Gonna make some greens, the yellow and the Prussian blue, a little bit of brown, and even some bright light greens. This is a little bit lighter. Make some grasses, kind of going up. This is a great brush for that. Get the paint a little bit looser. Gonna add some more browns. You just gotta play with putting in some of these colors. You might have washed away a lot of the color Grabbing some of this orangey color, some yellow. Clean off my brush, got a little wet. Yeah, I've lost a lot of this bright color that I was looking for. And my road too. You just go back over another pass. A little bit darker on the road. And I have my greens kind of going on here, like grasses that are growing on the road and on the end of the road. Just flip the brush up and over. You don't want grasses everywhere. A couple on the road here. It's like a country road. Simple as that. And then I'm going to have some little bit of lines going across. Ooh, a little dirt road. Coming back here. Some dry brushing. Okay, now we're going to add the tree trunks. So we can add Prussian, burnt umber and some Paynes gray. Make a deep dark brown. Fill this in. Push down. Go up into the tree. The lines up over to the tree trunk. Getting a little bit more gray in here. Adding those little spiky ones at the end. Same thing with this one. We got one over here we added. We can add some like little small ones in the background that don't have any leaves on them. And there's this guy right here. This is a great brush. It's almost like a liner brush per se. Put this tree over here. I do want to add some shadows underneath my tree. A little top up there. Just fill that all in. And like I said, we could add some more trees in the back, or maybe there's some smaller ones way in the back. So maybe I'll go back here and I'll kind of add some more leaves, or not add them. A couple more trees back here. Almost like a row of trees happening. And probably another one here. It's funny, when you start, you just can't stop, right? That's how it goes. A little wind back here. I'll take that same ratty brush and I'll kind of put little smaller leaves on these ones. Maybe just yellow in the background. And this guy up front, I might add a little bit orange. Push down. Can add some more green, light green to it. So just make it light green. You can use the Prussian blue in the yellow, or peacock blue and yellow. And a little green on top. And background over here. Just kind of filling it all in. Just fall trees everywhere. And get a little bit darker. My green in some of these areas. Filling her all in. It's like a row of trees. Can even add a little brown too if you want to. Okay, the last thing is I'm going to add some more gray again here. Blue, burnt sienna, a little on the blue side. And add some shadows from the trees. Like this. Coming down. Across the road. In here. And to add some wiggles of, like, you know, the little leaves that are making a shadow. Kind of on its side. And these guys are making a shadow this way. Because the sun's coming from this way. Can add little shadows from our leaves, from our grasses going across. Like I said, we can add a little branch, wiggle the little leaves. Just adds a little something. Can even make the shadow even thicker on that side. And way back here, coming in this way. It's more interesting. And again, here these grasses going across, Maybe have some shadow kind of here and going down this way. Love to play with that. Last but not least, you can add a little bit of field grasses if you want to. I'm going to add a few more. Boop, boop. They could be green, they could be brown. Making mine a combo with all kinds of colors here. Kind of fun. And even some orange on the road, like the leaves have blown. Yellow. Just tap a little bit of that color. Little small ones. So they're like on the road. Doot, 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 doot. Sound effects and all. Doot, 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 doot. And back in here. Then you have a wonderful fall road going into the mountains. Wasn't that fun? Get a little radial brush. It's an old like round brush. And just have fun with the trees. Play around with it. I'm going to have this melded up in here. So it kind of mushes together. Fill in that little space. Love it. Let me know your thoughts. And just like I said, get a radial brush. Super fun to play with. And the skies. Just making those clouds and then the mountains. A few of these babies down here. You want to throw a couple of... So I hope you had fun painting this. Let me know your thoughts. If you're a Patreon member, you get the extended version. And, you know, just take your time just washing the color and throwing in all these little shapes. And just take a little ratty brush to make those trees super cool. All right, guys. Take care.